One.
Hey, welcome back to my Tomb Raider show. This week we're going to do a highly glitched
How did that happen?
a slow run through Bouchard's hideout. Look out for the question of the week, which is, what is the worst Tomb Raider puzzle? And you'll find out what makes me do this.
Oh my god, I just remembered that one.
And then lastly, for our spotlight, we are looking at a couple of games outside of the mainline series, these being Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, and Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. So, hope you're sitting comfortably, settle down, chill out, and enjoy our first up's going to be the playthrough. So, AOD DVD coming at you.
Thanks for joining us again. We are on the next level of Tomb Raider, the action adventure video game. This is playing through the story of Angel of Darkness, but on a DVD.
No games console needed.
I'm having a good day today. I've just completed for the first time Streets of Rage 2.
Very good, very good. Who did you play as?
I played as the big wrestler. Called Max.
Yeah.
His main fighting animation is just douche down on somebody's head in front of him, like, because he's so big. It's just like it's like he's putting a stamp on their head.
I like Blaze and I like Adam. They're my. Although I know they're not in. I think Blaze is in all of them, but I know Adam's not in all of them.
Adam is stolen. Like, he's Princess Peach in number 2, essentially. You have to go and rescue him, which I find is really frustrating because I like to play as him in the first one. He was my main character because his only weak stat in the first one was speed.
Yeah.
You never time out. Whereas Blaze doesn't have the power and Axel doesn't have the movement.
Yeah, it's like these fly knee, isn't it? Not a fly kick.
Yeah, you don't have the sort of reach of it. Anyway, should we get on to some Tomb Raider?
We should. We're in Bouchard's hideout. And our mission is find and question Bouchard. Let's do it.
Dodgy character. Let's go.
Now to find
Well,
Bouchard.
I reckon maybe play safe in his hideout.
Because you're afraid of spiders, is that all?
Are we sneaking, actually? I guess we used the password, so maybe we could just go ahead.
I think play safe.
Play safe. Done it.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I'm pretty sure play safe does just do it for you, doesn't it? So maybe we should try and avoid that if possible.
And you think maybe it's progressed us, but we've lost the chance to get a point? You reckon that's
possibly? Yeah, maybe it. And like, if you take that option too often, you will miss a point. Maybe not every time, but yes, that would make sense.
There's scant few details on this game. It's so sort of rare, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was so good.
I reckon here the jump is too big, so I reckon we should look, and we might get a different option.
Okay, ready?
And predicted. Hang a move. Or shall we jump anyway?
hang a move. I like how it was just the camera angle and the shift, and then it was really obvious.
Oh, my DVD just glitched me back.
Oh no! So you're still one side of the pit.
Yeah, I pressed up to hang and move, and it jumps back to jumping me in the pit.
Oh no!
Right, let's try that again.
Just talk me through how it's going.
Okay. It's just jumping around. Maybe my disc is a bit funny. Speech is a bit affected here as well.
But have
I
you
may have
gone
to
ahead?
eject and give it a little light. This is definitely no glitches in this version of Angel of Darkness.
we
You know what though?
Does
It's like
that mean we can now actually call this a glitch speed run? We're not doing it quickly, are we?
we can't call it a
Glitches.
speed run. Full stop.
Okay. Slow run with glitches, unintentionally.
And we're in again.
Yeah.
Apologies. Okay. It's definitely juddering. But I've made it across.
Way. So you're going to go into a room, you're going to see the works of the monstrum, and then hopefully you're going to find yourself up against a door, and you can go ahead or play safe.
Looks like the work of the monster.
That's quite a long cutscene.
Very long one, this one.
Oh, it's the Terminator 2 man.
This must be Bouchard's office.
Okay, I'm at Bouchard's office. Let's bust it in. Ahead.
Okay.
Oh, we might need the crowbar though.
Oh, can we go inventory?
Let's try it.
Okay. Whip.
So click the crowbar and go use. No.
I thought that was us being clever. It would have been nice if that worked. All right, let's
Yes.
go back. And ahead or safe? What do you reckon?
Just trying to go back.
So I had to actually, rather than click it, I had to press up, and enter to move it.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
What happened to your man in the room
Open
out
the
there,
door.
Bouchard?
Isn't it odd not playing
You've got
with
something to say about that?
controller?
Maybe. It might be linked to what
Yeah,
happened to a friend of
definitely.
mine.
I doubt it. Get
What do you reckon? What are we doing?
out of here.
Do you know the name
I'm
Eckhart?
just
Never
about
heard of him.
to.
Okay. You helped a friend of mine a while back. Werner von Croy.
Names don't mean a lot here. Even real ones. What did you want?
Maps and information on the Louvre.
I remember, 4 weeks ago, wanted to take a coachload of Japanese...
Right. Easy, Bouchard. I lost that friend yesterday. Now I'm wanted for his murder. Don't jack me round, Bouchard. I lost that friend yesterday.
Did you go
First
ahead
one.
to get that? I think you've jumped ahead of me now.
Oh, then it skipped.
Okay, well I've gone ahead and then.
So what's happening in yours?
Just chatting to Bouchard, asking what happened to the room back in there. And he's telling her to get out. Pressing him
That's
for
what-
information.
That's why it was so long in between us, because it skipped a bit.
So, I've got some options coming up to reply to the guy. Is that where you've got to?
Yeah, so easy, Bouchard. I lost that friend yesterday. Now I'm wanted for his murder.
Which
Or
one do you
don't
wanna go
joke me around.
I don't mind.
Probably the A, top one.
Easy,
Okay,
Bouchard.
ready?
I lost that friend yesterday. Now I'm wanted for his murder.
Yes, the academic. Wanted access to recent archaeological diggings
Says that like such
inside
a
the Louvre.
badass.
I gave him contact. You want the same?
And more. I need 9mm protection, backpack, plastic explosive, stun packs. Paris isn't safe these days.
Who for? You obviously can't
Getting
take
your
care of
favorite.
yourself.
Do you have what I need?
I know who does. Daniel Rennes works out of the pawnbrokers on the corner of the Rue Saint-Marc and Cour la Seine.
What would you suggest?
A trade. I have to get certain things into his hands. Passports. You could deliver them for me.
Why not have one of your men deliver your passports?
Have no one to spare.
Okay, deal.
Make sure Rennes get...
Okay. So most of that level was spent dealing with the the glitches.
Yeah. That's going to be a weird one to look back on. That was probably the most realistic sort of conversation I've seen in a Tomb Raider game up to this point, like up to this release date. Like, it seems to have stepped up from like the sort of very how would you say, sort of wooden. Seems like there's actually more thought paid to the script here.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think possibly that's hardware related. Okay, so I got 3 points there. Oh no, sorry, 4 points there.
Good. I got 3.
How did that happen?
The same things.
I must have skipped something.
Yeah. Maybe you're like pressing a button, waiting for like the input to register, and then you're like, oh, why hasn't it done anything? You press something else, and then it's done 2 of them in a row. It's like stacked them up or something.
That is possible, because on the hanging bits you had to tap up. Oh, I thought you had to tap up. Maybe you just had to press up. So I pressed it several times, but it did jump backwards.
I didn't get that. I just sort of, she went over as I tapped.
Oh.
I think 3 times.
3 times, maybe that's it. Well, hopefully it sorted itself out for next week.
Yeah, and just might as well read out the password in case we need it. My passcode, well, it's going to be different because I've got a different amount of points to you now, but who cares? It'll get us to the right level. 35681.
So if you want a average to poor score, and starting from halfway through the DVD.
So informational and useful for people.
All right, shall we go see what those handsome chaps in the studio have to say this week?
Yeah, I think they've got a Tomb Raider related question and topic to talk about. So let's go over to them. We're back with our question of the week. Last week we answered our favourite puzzle type, and we spoke about all the different types of puzzles you can get. We got philosophical on what is a puzzle. And this week we're going to go and flip it and do what is the worst Tomb Raider puzzle. What is the worst Tomb Raider puzzle? I know that a lot of people are going to get wound up by some of the Tomb Raider games and how obtuse some of the puzzles are. So sound off in the comments if you have a really annoying puzzle that got under your skin. And we're going to go through some of the worst ones.
Exactly, brilliant. So yeah, last week we summarised, chatted and said finding a key, having a hub room, using items, time segments, and interacting with the environment. So these are all coming under those kind of categories. But what makes it bad? That's what we're going to explore this time. So I thought, first of all, a bad puzzle is if it's too easy. There's no fun in it. We talked about accomplishment last week, and some of our favourite puzzles, we really got that sense of accomplishment. If it's too easy, you don't get the accomplishment. So
this is one of the best things about Tomb Raider in general. Mm-hmm. The aha moment, I've just discovered, it clicked into place and I figured that out myself. That is one of the best things about the whole game series.
Yeah, definitely. An example would be, I think, the swamp in Tomb Raider 3, where you've got to jump on the lily pad things. There's a map of it. You know, there's no challenge to that. I mean, but you could even trial and error it. You know, there's a solution.
Worse as well, because it's not obvious where to look at the map. There's no prompt. If you weren't paying attention to the cutscene earlier, you don't notice that he's even given you a map. And you don't know that it's gone into your inventory. So you can be stuck on that one for ages. But then once you do figure that out, then it's almost too easy. Yeah,
I guess this kind of comes under too easy. Potentially, it's its own category, but trial and error, there's no accomplishment in that, and I don't think that makes it a good puzzle either. Just the fact that you could go at it so long that you succeed. Yeah, I suppose boulder traps might fall under that category. You're on a roll. Oh, very good. You just go from an instant death to getting that back to that place, and then it's done.
What are the odds there's like a boulder up there and it runs me over.
It's one cheap, quick kill, and then it's too easy.
Definitely. And I think we talked about this in Race to the End, but the labyrinth, we both just muscled our way through. It was, to be fair, a definition of a labyrinth, I think over a maze is that there is only one route. It felt like that. It was almost too easy. Even though I didn't know what I had to do, I got to the end with no difficulty.
Yeah, I felt like I fluked it. I felt like I didn't deserve that one.
The next section is too hard, but I'm going to break this down into two. So I think the first one is not necessarily the player's fault. It's the developers not explaining to you what you need to do. So it's poorly communicated puzzles. And Tomb Raider 4 is the big one for me on this, but Tomb Raider 5 definitely continued that trend. New switch types. There were different physical mechanics and moves that Lara had that aren't explained in the warm-up level and the trainee tutorial level.
Yeah, I remember there being ones where you put your hand into them, and it's not necessarily obvious that that's a lever, that there's a lever in there. And there's ones where you jump up and pull them down, and you might not recognise that as a switch because we've never had to jump them.
Okay, a new type of switch here that we haven't seen in any of the previous Tomb Raider games. You actually have to jump and grab it, and then hold the action button, and she'll flip the switch.
And there's the doors that you open by pressing X, which is never explained. That's not a full-on puzzle, but if you're stuck in an area, it's a puzzle. If you've got to solve it to get through, it's just difficult. And the almost infamous button pressing puzzles. So there's a small one in number 5, which comes back to the trial and error. There is no explanation of how to get the solution, no order of the puzzles. But there's a famous one from Tomb Raider 4 where you have something in your inventory, and it's like a letter puzzle, but it's just not explained, and apparently it's really difficult, and if you go wrong you have to retrace your steps a long way to get back to trying the puzzle again, and just frustrating and poorly communicated.
I suppose one that's similar to that for me is in the remake. I think it's the Obelisk of Karamun, maybe, where you're shifting around 4 sort of statues, and they all have to sort of face a certain way. But when you're twisting one, sometimes it twists this other one over here, and you have to make them all sort of match the right way. But you have to do it in a very specific order. And if you're like me, you've gone and you've just started twisting them and see what happens, and then you sort of feel like you've learned how they sort of work, but you've messed up the order you have to do it in order to get it to be every statue point in the right way. That one is too frustrating.
That also reminds me the description of the 3 circle discs in the floor on southern Mexico to open the stairs downwards in the big area beneath you. You have to put the skull in and then could twiddle it. But I thought that was quite a well done puzzle, so perhaps they'd improved on their earlier foray into it. So Too Hard Part 2 is not necessarily the developers not explaining what you need to do, but it's just obscure that you would never necessarily guess unless it's by luck. So linked to the previous one, but this is just based on the pure obscurity of it. So the hook, where you have to get a hook, get a handle, put them together, and then go to that cage thing, which isn't even really on show in the amusement park of Tomb Raider 4. There's the shooting range in Tomb Raider Chronicles in the Von Croy level, where you have to go to the shooting range and then it unlocks a door down the corridor.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess I think that might also come under the category too easy.
Yeah, the actual shooting, yeah, you're right.
But like completely like nonsensical. Like that building is so weird. What is up with it?
Although I think that shooting range, there is 2 targets and the second one I think gets a secret, but apparently that's really difficult. So they've gone from one extreme to the other on that.
I've got that secret when we did our playthrough.
And there's kind of linked to that as well is texture puzzles, particularly Tomb Raider 5. Kicking in the vent where it's not obvious, you know, just having to see something where there's not that many clues and no camera angle and nothing to point you the right way.
I think mine actually falls into this category. I'm going to say my worst puzzle type in Tomb Raider games is the block moving ones, where you can't distinguish so easily that you're even meant to be moving a block. It just sort of looks like a wall, but then one of them is like a movable block. So there's one in one of the early games where you're in, I think it's mines, and you have to move some industrial crates, and you have to move them a specific order, and you can't see what's behind there, but there's actually a pathway to a switch that you have to 3-up, but you don't know which way you're meant to be pulling them. You just sort of have to pull and push until you find the right combination and a pathway opens up. I just think that's really poor, and it also takes a long time, because the pulling and pushing animation is a bit fiddly. So you're spending a lot of time doing that, and when you're replaying it, and even when you know exactly what to do, then it's rubbish as well, because you're just doing these long, slow animations. And there's a really one. Yeah. Great soundbite there, Nick. Thank you for that. But there's also a really hard one of the same ilk in Tomb Raider 3 in the Indian levels. You come to like, I think I'm stuck, but there's a block to be moved, which I did not think we could move.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and I think I was stuck in offshore rig a long time, just not knowing that the boxes could be pulled.
I always
right at the
try
start.
to complete a Tomb Raider game by myself, but some of them I have to end up looking at what to do, like a walkthrough or a guide, maybe like a video from BadassGamez. So props to you if you have completed these games completely, not watching any videos, any playthroughs, or reading any walkthroughs. Props to you if you've made your way through a whole game without doing that. Some of the puzzles in Tomb Raider games, we know,
Got good.
it can be very challenging.
I think actually the epitome of obscure, I've just thought, is the sea hag.
Yes.
I mean, there's no clue. I know there's the cutscene, but it's not obvious she likes shiny things. It's not like she's got like a crow with a nest of shiny bits that you know, oh, she likes shiny things.
That would have made it better.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that one in preparing for this question, because I just looked at the cheat, I looked at what to do, and I, as a result, enjoyed it because it was reasonably simple. I did it after 1 or 2 takes. I wasn't swimming around in the water for an hour, and you got to see cinematics which were quite cool surrounding that.
And I think I said when we were playing it, that's where I think that was the level where we threw in the towel. But I got to the sea hag, and the bit that frustrated me was once I looked it up, I hadn't gone wrong. You swim into her lair, she kicks you out. That happens every time. You have to go back into her lair. So I did that without looking. I just went round and was like, oh, I'll try. I've been everywhere, so I'll try again. And the same cutscene happened because I was too close to her. But it's just like, don't kick you out the first time, because then everyone's going to assume that will happen every time. Yeah, that was frustrating. So the final category is that the puzzle is just plain bad.
Okay, so what examples have we got with this one?
So this one the first one may be slightly unfair, but it's the chess kind of the Egyptian chess game. I mean, there's several parts. First of all, you have to spin the black and white sticks, which is the equivalent of a die. Then you have to know to jump on the coloured platform that corresponds to where you want to move, and then you have to understand the rules of the game. I think we kind of worked it out, but we also got through with a lot of luck. But then I did find out afterwards that you do have the instructions in your inventory. But again, just to look there and not tell you, and not to, yeah, it was just bad. And it's not a particularly fun game.
I'd say it's naff and laborious, that one.
It would potentially work if you were given a tutorial on the instructions, and then all you had to do was press like circle is the right hand color, X is the middle color, and square is the left color. And then you don't have to do the platforming jumping bit and spinning the thing in between, and so it was a lot quicker and you could complete it quicker. That may work, but it wasn't like that. And the other just plain bad is the RPG element of Angel of Darkness. So you push something, you get stronger, you can open that door that you couldn't open just now. You can't make that jump, so you go and get on a mini tramp for 5 minutes, you take a spin class, and then you can do it.
I feel faster now.
Yeah, that's just plain bad, and I suppose that is a big contender for the worst, which makes the worst one really bad if it's worse than that. But have you got any shout outs before?
I think that's going to be the one which everybody is shouting out, because that's like infamous. It's one of the biggest Tomb Raider memes that there is I feel stronger now.
But I have placed another one at number 1, and I think it is also iconic. Probably a lot of people have guessed already, but the coin from London, Tomb Raider 3. Again, I don't believe anyone has did this first time.
Old Witch Underground Station. Oh my god, I just remembered that one.
Yeah, it just...
No, that is it. That is hands down the worst one, definitely. That is it.
I actually think that covers all of the categories. It's easy if you know how. You've just got to put it in the right place. It is poorly communicated, and it's obscure. It's obscure because it's a coin, so you think you buy a ticket, but you don't. You put it straight in the ticket thing, don't you? It's not. They should give you a ticket rather than a coin. I feel like the original item should be a ticket. So you go, I need to go through the ticket turnstiles. And the obvious one of only one turnstile working, or one ticket booth working.
That plays up really badly with the camera angles as well.
You know, back at the time, that was just... it ruined that London for a lot of people, including me.
I think cynics at the time would say that maybe games were designed like that to give the tips hotline numbers an income, because you are going to get stuck at that bit. You will need somebody to tell you how to do that. I don't think anybody's done that level figuring it out themselves, have they?
And when I played it, there wasn't even really like internet forums or anything like to go and look up. Maybe like you could get text-based guides.
Stella's guide was probably up there. Stella's guide has been there for long times.
Fair enough, yeah. But unfortunately, I hadn't stumbled across that then. Yeah. But yeah, that's my pick for the worst puzzle.
I liked what you did there. I see what you did there. You did it last week as well. You did a different category of different types of puzzles, and then your winning one or your worst one fit all of them. That was very smart. Well done, mate.
Right.
It's time for our Tomb Raider Spotlight, where we shine a light on a Tomb Raider creator or do a mini review of a non-mainline game.
So this week it's a spin-off game that the developers have made from Tomb Raider series, and it is the isometric couple of games, Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris. So Guardian of Light is the first one. I think it was released on PS3, and it's isometric, so kind of diagonal view on. It works really well with Tomb Raider game. So left stick is move, right stick is aim. So you can kind of walk this way and aim backwards, and it's just so fluid. And then you've got shoulder buttons or whatever for shooting. And it's a bit like one of those games where you've got lots of shooting. I'm thinking of those kind of almost like, is it Asteroids, the old Atari game where they come down from the top?
Space Invaders.
Space Invaders, yes. So where you're constantly shooting, and it's a bit like lots of enemies, and you've just got to kind of keep away from them and shoot them. Left 4 Dead, I think, from the Xbox, is a similar kind of style in a way to that. And more recently, the Resogun. I've heard of that one from the PS4. But yeah, it just works really well. There is puzzling sections to the game, and I did nearly shout this one out for a boss in a previous spotlight where question I think it was, where you're kind of being chased by this fish thing that's eating the ground behind you, and it's quite like Crash Bandicoot where you're kind of running away from the big enemy, jumping over things, having to quickly solve puzzles to get away from it. Great game. Temple of Osiris came second, and they kind of developed it a little bit more. The puzzles got a little bit more complex, and you got a second character, or 2 second characters, so a second and third character. So you can play as Osiris or Isis, the Egyptian gods, and you can play that couch co-op as well. So puzzles take on a new element where you need both characters to solve them sometimes, and it works. It's very clever how they've made it so that however many characters are playing, because I think you can play up to 3 or maybe even 4, the puzzles kind of develop so that you need them all to solve it. So you can play it 1 player or more, and the puzzles change to accommodate that, which I think is great. But they're really fun, and they're definitely worth picking up and playing if you haven't already.
If you've got any suggestions for future spotlights or questions of the week that you would like us to answer, leave them in the comments below. We always read them and have a look at those. And one more level to complete Act 1 of The Angel of Darkness, and that'll be out next Friday, so hope you stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the show, hit subscribe or become a Patreon, and that's it. Are you still here?